Flamingo, I am on time. I'm just finishing up things. I might as well use it. Hi. And how could I be on time or be late if I never actually said what time I was gonna start? It's beg time. Oh, I just realized. Yeah, I read that wrong. I thought you were yelling at me for being late. Okay. I think everything's good. So I'm gonna stick this off in the corner. Wolfie is late. Oh no. Come on, internet. Read emotes, please. Sarah, turning off chat on screen. Showed up on my other computer. Alright. Load. There we go. Alright. 3 more. This is gonna be a butt. Alright. You perch on the kitchen island. We might get one more. I don't know when it is though. I don't think it's in this one. Whirling away the minutes until your sister joins you downstairs. There was quite an adventure planned today, and Lee was coming down near Sunset Bird area. I need to turn down my computer. As part of what she called a little trip. Apparently, she thought of how nice it was going to be to go on a private boat trip this summer to celebrate graduation and everything. Wow. We're off to a great start. What might have been an ideal dream for most people to turn into reality turned reality in Lee's hands. You have been invited along for a ride by your best cousin. Best cousin is a rich cousin. What kind of insane she could have made that happen. Oh, kind of insane that she could make it happen. You were eager, anticipating the adventure. It was great to see her. The idea of being on a ship worried you a little, or you were pretty mellowed out. We're going on a boat, and not my tiny ass boat. Still can't believe you bought a boat. It wasn't every day that you got to ride on a proper boat, let alone a private one, and you're excited to go out on the water to see the ocean from a fresh angle. Yay! Yeah! I just need Twitch to recognize that it is 50 followers. It keeps telling me that I'm at 49, and I'm like, excuse me? Do you know me, lol? A little guessing game. My first instinct is to actually go with my friend Caro's streams. Unless you know me in real life. Flamingo. Yeah. orgasm. Oh no. Oh no. I'm dumb, guys. That it was. GS. Can I give up? I don't know. No. Ah, fudge. It was Carl. Okay, I kind of thought at one point it was Grim, but damn it. Can't. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Hi, Grim. I'm like going through almost like, did Kara draw all eroded? I was freaking out. I was like, oh shit, was it one of the ones that I slept through? I thought because I mentioned it to my real life friends that I streamed, and I was just like, oh shoot. I'm like, did one of them show up? And I'm like going through and I'm just like, oh. When don't you sleep on through streams? Hey. I'm usually there. I'm just watching and not talking. I usually say hello when I'm awake and there, unless I fall asleep. Out of line, but yeah. Bullies. Alright. Oh, I had to wake up early. I'm like I'm like rereading to see if I read this line already or not. You weren't the only one who was heading out on the trip. Liz was coming, of course. Your moms had been invited, but hadn't been able to find time to squeeze it in. And also, the trip would only involve the kids of the family, a term that had stuck despite all three of you being adults now. True, what's early to you? I woke up at 8 and I went to bed at 4. And I was just like, wasn't enough sleep. Isn't it like, no, yeah, 9. Well, to be fair, I went to bed at the time that you were up. And I had to deal with, children and a baby, so... Listen here, okay, times. Put a number, yeah. You fighting me with sleep? Sleep, Grim? Sleep? I think the worst that I ever did was I slept for 4 minutes and then got up and went to class. College Bay is me. Have a nice lurk, Asheville. I'm a truck driver now. Oh. Yeah, I hate driving with a kind of with a passion, so I avoid it at all costs. But you should really make sure you get enough sleep so you don't crash. I wish you the best. Also, the trip would only... Oh, I read that. Coffee. I actually can't drink coffee, so I exist purely on the energy that I have. I'm stopped for some before I leave right now. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm like, I exist. And it's been like that for pretty much... Yeah, I tried. Can't drink, obviously. Drink coffee? But me, no. Yeah, like, it wasn't until I think sophomore year of high school summer, I went to France and I got tired of drinking water, so I learned how to drink tea. So I get some caffeine from drinking tea. Not much, but that's kind of what I do when I'm like kind of tired. Kara! Why was your school soft and you want more? Panic. Papa is alright. Well, Papa, we are going on a boat trip. I hope that you slept actually today, Grim. Slept in. Got all the rest. Mom would have joked about cramping your style, but there was apparently plenty of room on the ship. Lee had been more than happy for you and Liz to bring other friends along if you wanted. But the trip out to Sunset Bird, then even further out where Lee and the boat would be, wasn't feasible for most people. Not many folks live close by. 6 hours. Well, compared to what you were telling me about earlier, at least that's a whole other 4 extra hours. So good, I guess. Gotta drive now. Have a good stream. Be safe. Have a nice drive. Bye-bye. I literally had to look up chat history to see who you are. Yeah, my brain doesn't exist sometimes. Especially with trying to remember people. It's just like, woo! There was naturally one person around who would always be there for the ride, Co. You were about to meet up with him outside. Have you seen Caro half the time? Like, who's this? Oh, this Grim. Yeah, they were like, play a guessing game, and I was like, I've never seen this thing in my life. I was like, maybe? Maybe? Lee had been glad when you told her he would be coming along today. Just as you were thinking about your cousin and her plans for the day ahead, your phone sprang to life. Glancing at the display, you saw the incoming call from Lee herself, and you answered it without pause. Lee, she's so pretty. I love Lee. Hey.
Hi.
She dove straight into the topic. The trip meetup. You could hear the trills of excitement in her voice. I'm here now. Everything is all set. All you gotta do is show up and we'll be off. Woo! End of the mommy and no one gets her. You won't be seeing any. Oh, wait. You like my sister. My sister will be there. You'll at least have that. Maybe. Wait, I'm pretty sure she's there. She spoke quickly, animated by anticipation. Hooray! You echoed her enthusiasm. Hooray! Great. I can't wait to see you. Liz and Cove are definitely still on board too, right? Whose sister now? Why did I know about? What do you mean? You called her mommy before. I'm pretty sure she'll show up soon, so. Yep. Wonderful. There's still a bit of time before you're due to set off. Is there anyone who you might extend the last minute invite to? Know to keep the guest list sparse now. It's not like we'll be bumping into anyone else to join in when we're out in the middle of the ocean. That world is not my vocabulary. Well, there's this new guy in the blog I like. There's a new guy around. I think you might like him. No one really comes to mind. I just want to be there. Word. Ha ha. Baxter's fine. Invite him? Sophia, you gotta see if he wants to come. I need to see who's your new friend. I've never said this before. I just said, hey, you might like this guy. Who your new friend is. Alright, I'll do it. I have no idea if he's free, but I can try.
Talk to you later.
I'll let you go. I have to if I want to see you here in a flash. She uttered the last word dramatically, making them sound like a threat then a statement. What? Laughing, you shook your head and Lee chuckled along down the phone. Bye, Lee. Bye. Now that your attention was free, you looked over to the stairs to see if Liz had emerged yet, but there was still no sign of her. You figured you might as well go out and see if Cove is ready in the meantime. Besides, you needed to stop by Baxter's place to invite him along. Liz would catch up, and you were sure. You called upstairs to let her know about the plan. You sent a text on the updated plan. You left her, she would figure it out. Imagine if I just left my sister. Like, bye, bitch. Fucking find us. To be honest, we would actually just walk up. Like, you would open the door, stare at your sibling for a little bit, and then you wait until they say what, and then you tell them. Liz, I'll be outside. Okay. With that, you hopped off the chair. I didn't realize we were just going to tell her that we would be outside. You hopped off the chair. I usually don't tell people. I'm usually like, I walk outside when we're leaving. And everyone's like, I was waiting for you inside. And I was like, I left, bitch. Heading out the door. A sunny day greets you. Shielding your eyes with a hand, you admired the sky. It seemed like good weather for heading on the water. That was something. You heard your name be called, and you turned automatically. Cove was the source of the call. He stand halfway between his own house and yours. He waved at you as you walked over. You waited for him to join you. You took a step in this direction. You ran over and threw your arms around him. Knock this bitch off. Oh. You tore across the street, pounced on him, wrapping him tightly into a hug. The wind gasped as you knocked into him. Oh god, it's like Daro when he like crashes into me in fucking Pokemon. Jeez. It's not a hug, it's just more of like a fucking like body check. Stretch. Stretch. Okay. The wind knocked out of him turned into a chuckle halfway. Hi. Hi. Hi, Cove. Ready to go? Code nodded easily, blinking. What? Yep, bucket. In the sunlight. Then his mouth curved into a gentle smirk. First, jet skis, now a boat. What an aquatic transportation device is up next for us. My money's on a submarine. Oh no. Now you guys get to see that. I have no idea what that emote looks like, and I'm pretty sure it's your gun. Yep, there it is. It finally popped up. You laughed. It was an adventurous summer for sure. Cove grinned, pleased that he amused you. Well, it was a good try. It was doing okay somewhat, but we'll see. It's like my internet is kind of good. It's not the worst it's been, but if it's not loading up emotes, it's a butt. It's funny because my little brother's not here either, so I have part of the internet. I still don't know why it does this. True, and then Live 2D quit on you as well. At least the bark worked. You laughed. It was an adventurous summer for sure. Cove grinned, pleased that he amused you. Cove glanced away, chewing on his lip in concentration. It didn't show you her emo at first, Flamingo. What are you talking about? Is it really okay for me to come? Of course. You don't have to ask, right? You don't even... Yeah. Semantics. Flamingo. Cove rubbed the back of his neck, frowning as if trying to work it out for himself. Yeah, it's just... I don't know. It's a real ritzy trip. Lee is your cousin, not mine.
I mean...
The two of us. Me and Lee are friends, maybe? But it's not like we have ever hung out on our own. I kind of worried I just might be out of place. The model thing was a companion. Ow. Oh no. There's no way you'd be left out, Cove. She wants you there, I promise. Lee. Oh. Cove, you're so difficult. You want to go on the boat? Or you looked at him concerned. Okay, you're right. Cool. Now I have to go over to Baxter's house. Cove managed a small smile. The worry hadn't lifted from his rigid shoulders. But you could tell he was attempting to project a little more confidence. I'm gonna go. Don't worry. I thought he was leaving for a moment. I was like, what? Good. You were satisfied with that. And I pulled out hair. I meant to tell you, but I'm inviting Baxter too. I gotta check if he's in now before we run out of time.
Huh?
Really? Cove was stunned. Rightfully so. He hadn't prepared for extra surprises. He shook it off, however. Alright. It's not like this isn't going to be awkward for me. He was joking. Mostly. I'll wait for you here. Alright, Cove. Oops. I'll see you in a bit. He strode over to the condo Baxter was staying in and rang the doorbell. You hit the button. Hitting the button, you recalled the last time Liz, or rather, dared you once to ring this very bell and ding-dong ditch the mean old people who resided here. She probably hadn't expected you to accept the dare. But I fucking did. Your chest puffed out with nostalgic pride, remembering the thrill of adrenaline. Yep. And how it fueled your little legs faster than you thought they could. And so I flew over a bush and yeeted and went, what? Before old memories could claim you, the door slid open. Baxter looked out, his head tilted in interest.
Nice to see you.
Sophia, what a nice surprise. He folded his arms over his chest, leaning casually against the doorframe. Must punch. Oh, you guys and this boy. Is there something I can do for you? Want to head out on a boat ride with my family in Cove? We're taking a boat trip right now. Are you on board? Pun intended. Ish. So the thing is, we're going on a sort of a trip now. Would you like to come if you want? His eyes widened only briefly, before resting back in his usual... Stop with these words! Languidous? Expression? It was either an impressive show of restrainment, or Baxter's life involving more impromptu boat trips than yours. Perhaps both.
I can do that.
I'm just gonna allow him to say it. So you don't have plans already? That's great. This is how Caro and Kalo did anything. Mostly Kalo. There was no plans, just show up at the door and we're like, we're doing this. Hi, TG. What are you saying thanks for? Did I miss something? Okay. To your surprise, Baxter's mouth curled into a little smirk. Missing things. Is it in the Discord? Is that what I'm missing? Okay. My schedule is always open for impromptu itinerary. I'm flexible, remember? Oh. He was not only agreeing to coming on the trip, but apparently canceling any other plans in order to make it happen. Baxter was certainly something. Quick, everyone, point and laugh. Kale! I'll send a message and you can check it later. Bye. Okay, Kayla, with your boy. Thanks for keeping me in mind. I think this is going to be fun. He slipped outside after securing the door behind him. He swept out an arm indicating for you to lead the way. He's cute, romance him. He doesn't have a DLC yet. Derek's getting the DLC first. And then I think he will be last. That might be the last DLC for this game. Since no DLC, punch him. You aren't trying hard enough. Excuse me. You misspelled disgust. Oh, Caro, your pew pew emote showed up. The first stop was to collect Cove. He was waiting as promised where you left him. Cove, good to see you. Hi. There was still no sign of Liz. You took the opportunity to bring Baxter up to date on the plans for today, and he took your words with interest. Only a minute or two passed before the door to your house finally opened, and Liz framed with it like a portrait. Yes, the fertilizer and the punchy bag in the same speed. You want to go, Flamingo? Unlike you, she had no need to shield her eyes with her hand in order to protect them from the sun. Sprite phrase. As her hat was performing the job admirably. Oh no, Wolfie has a gun. Okay. Pew pew! Boo! Spotting you, she headed straight over. Oh, Flamingo. Wasn't this the one that you liked? The girl? She smiled warmly at you and Cove as she approached. Her attention then promptly turned to the group's new addition. It's nice to see you again, Baxter. I love them all, thank you. His eyes closed as he bowed his head in a nod ever so slightly. Ooh. And same to you. Living on the same street had given Liz and Baxter an opportunity to get to know each other over the course of the summer. Though she spent less time with him than you had, you anticipated that she wouldn't object to him tagging along on the trip. Yeah, he's short. I would say the same about Derek, but I know what he looks like later, so... Yes, he is short. But so is Jeremy. Jeremy is tiny. I can simper him now since it's out of the bag. Jeremy? You remember Bull Haircut Kid? He got them germs. I had asked him to join us today. Just as you expected, Lizzie didn't much have a reaction to the change of plans. She merely raised her brow.
Oh.
I feel like you and Lee will become fast friends, Baxter. Baxter smiled politely. With that, your little group piled into the car, deciding in advance that you'll be heading over in Cove's car. Then you set off for the journey down the coast to where you will be meeting Lee. You wound down the California shoreline. We're gonna go visit Trash Chan. With sparkling ocean water on one side and then craggy cliffs on the other. The world blurred by until eventually you made it safely to the large harbor. It was a far grander scale than the one near Mr. Holton's shop. Boats 2, 3, even 5 times larger than it could fit. Liz took charge from there. Calling up your cousin to guide you the rest of the way, Lee did her best to explain where precisely the boat was docked. Given that she was doing it without seeing where you were, that was an area that she was only slightly familiar with herself, but she did a good job. It took a bit of fumbling and little retracing of steps as your cousin and your sister had different definitions of orange, that rusty brown Liz had protested. But before too long, you heard her voice calling to you, not from the phone in Lizzie's head, but over the winds rolling off the ocean. Searching for the source of the sound, you found her on the prow of a ship, jumping in the air, waving frantically for your attention. You arrived at your destination. Lee dashed from the boat over to the gangway, where you boarded one by one. Look at Lee! I love Lee. Hi, everyone! I'm so glad that you got here okay. You could tell, even if she said nothing, her bright grin as she saw you all spoke loud and clear. Hi, Lee. You smiled at her, you waved, you gave your cousin a high five, or you squeezed her in a side hug, or you gave her a full-on hug. She's getting a full hug. You wrapped your arms around her, pulling her in tight against your chest. Squealing, Lee returned the hug just as tightly. After greeting you, Lee turned to look over the faces of the others who joined you on your ocean voyage. Her attention was immediately pulled over to the only one in the group that she had not met before. Grinning, she approached him.
My pleasure.
I am Lee. I am so excited to meet the mysteriously new man on the block. What a coincidence. I was looking forward to meeting our gracious host for the day. I must confess, I'm not that mysterious. I'm rather open. I do hope that I don't come off as a disappointment. Not at all. I can appreciate forwardness. Welcome aboard. My throat's going already. Wee. Eh. I switch out my water later. With that, she glanced over there at the others.
Thank you.
Lee, thank you again for taking us on this lovely trip. Cove hovered awkwardly behind you and your sister. Even with Liz's broad sun hat, he was too tall, and the group was too small to hide effectively. He made a fleeting eye contact, God motherfucker, with Lee and then looked away. Hi, thank you for letting me come. The boat's cool. He chuckled nervously and Lee smiled, entertained by his bubbling phrase. Hi, Ho. She giggled as she spoke, unable to hide her amusement. Cove lowered his head. You patted his arm reassuringly. You stood in front of him like a shield. You couldn't help but smirk at his reaction. You rubbed the bridge of your nose, or you folded your arms. Let's get the little pat pat. Oh my God, Cove, don't leave my boy alone. We're all gonna have a good day. You don't have to laugh at him. Cove's little game of hide and go seek is pretty funny. You didn't say anything. Cove smiled weakly at you, his face flushed, and you could tell he appreciated your show of support, but it was still embarrassing about needing help. Is this the bad? My daughter's gonna marry. I thought I heard dogs barking. And I forgot my dogs aren't here. My puppies. Well, Holly's here. But she barely barks when the shepherds aren't. Darling, if you ever had to come home, please do not hesitate. Still embarrassed about needing help. The floor seemed to give beneath you as Lee whooped in delight and you realized the ship had pulled out into the water. I always injured myself on boats. It's just like, whoop, off the edge. Whoop. Next I get the cops to ask me questions. Whoop. I'm gonna switch to mobile. Okay. It had been so steady while in Mordid that you temporarily forgotten that you weren't on solid ground. And now, as the boat rocked beneath your feet, there was no doubt you were truly setting sail. The little group I can say this word. I know what this word is. Sketch. No. 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 Dissipated. Close enough. Into clatter or heading over the railings to watch the ocean. Dissipated. I know, but it wasn't coming out. Back. To watch the ocean, you were ruffled by the breeze, which seemed stronger out on the water than it did back on shore. I hope this boat is bigger, that it can handle the ocean waves, unlike my dad's boat. Wait. The floor continued to rise and fall, reminding you of standing in a bouncy house while others jumped. It was refreshing. You were curious on how the trip would go. You felt unsure, tried to ignore it. It was scary. You were hit with nausea. I'm quite curious on how all these would go, but I'm fine on boats. I always have been. Until I fall off of them. As you let your surroundings truly sink in, you thought today was shaping up to be memorable. You were glad that you were able to join Lee on this trip. We can really get the party started now. Oh, wonderful. What did you have in mind? Well, the word hung in the air as your cousin stalled. It was clear that she didn't have something immediately in mind. Cove's eyes sparkled as he piped up. Can we get out of the boat? Like, go swimming in the deep ocean? Sometimes you swear this boy was part mermaid. Man. The way he was continuously drawn to the water. But Lee immediately quashed the suggestion.
No.
Her tone left no room for debate. Baxter chuckled, combing a hand through his hair. I prefer to stay on board too.
Sorry.
It's not that kind of boat trip. Isn't supposed to stop anywhere, and if someone end up off in the water, the captain would have to call a Coast Guard on us. Cove's shoulders slumped at the resounding rejection.
All right.
This boy in this water. That's disappointing. Suck it up, Cove. You can still find something to do. Fun to do, Cove. There's no way I'm getting in the water. You didn't comment. The decision was already made. Just got a sussy bee. Flamingo. You can still find stuff to do. I actually really don't like going into the water as much. It's the fact of actually going in the water. I'm fine once I'm in, but just the fact. Truly, if there isn't that much we can do on the boat, that we couldn't technically do back on land. I often take trips with my father on our boat. He always spends the time deep sea fishing. I'm not much of a fisherman, personally. Activities that could also be done while not on the boat sound excellent to me. Busily bolstered by Baxter's support, Lee smiles warmly at him. Huh? My dad takes me fishing sometimes, though we do it on the dock by my dad's shop. I'm not good at it either. Fishing! I did it once by a river and that was it. I don't think I caught anything. I think I did it back in elementary school. I don't think I've been fishing since. Hold on a second. Was that? There is some voice acting, so I don't know if you heard that or I try to do voices. But I'm going to say no. Baxter snickered. His expression warmed as he looked at Cove, boy of the boy's mind. He appreciated the delicate attempt to relate, especially how standoffish Cove was normally with him. That was fate of sons with their dads. Apparently, how lucky we won't be doing that now. Wrong answer. Wrong answer! Don't come for me. No. 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 Yeah. Good job, Cove. Liz nodded. There's nothing wrong with some non-neutral theme activities. We could play party games for all I care.
Yeah!
Yeah, we'll do some party games. You saw her brow furrowed for a moment as she mentally conjured possibilities and then smoothed it out as one came to mind. Oh, what about the one where something is written down and the people give clues and the one person has to guess what it is? Sure, I say I played party game and I stand by that, but who's first to guessing? Me? How about rock, paper, scissors to decide? How about do we an arm wrestling contest to decide? I don't care. You wait for someone to speak. Lee propped her chin up on her hand, surveyed the group. Sophia, Baxter, Cove, Liz, and me. Sound good? Her suggestion was met with nods and murmurs of approval. Great! We can get the party games going right away. With a devious grin, Lee picked up a pen and a notepad from the bar counter as she twirled the glittering pen in her fingers. Lee clarified the rules after Cove raised a wavy eyebrow. Random words could be written down, folded up to give another player. When it was someone's turn to be the guesser, they would show everyone else what the word, but couldn't look at it themselves. The other player had to help the guesser figure out what the word was without directly saying it. Each person was allowed to say only one clue. After all the hints were given, the guesser would have to decide. Lee gave each guest a mini party at the mini party a piece of paper from her notepad. It was surprisingly thick lined paper with a little starfish print at the bottom. She scrounged around to find more writing implements. She managed to dig up a short pencil with an old jelly grip on it, a ballpoint pen with a logo you didn't recognize, and a purple crayon. Baxter had a nice pen with him already, so he respectfully passed on Lee's offer, and she turned to you.
Okay.
Here, pick one. Give me the fucking purple crayon. Of course. You pull out the crayon with a fan. I actually really hate crayons. From the fan assortment of options Lee presented to you. The crayon was a lot thicker than what you were used to. It smelled of kindergarten with a hint of those restaurants that used to give crayons to with their kids' menu. We went to this one restaurant that took forever getting our orders. Like, I literally colored the entire kids' menu with shading. And I was just like, I'm done. Why is the food still not here? I think it was like an hour wait. Hour or more waiting for food, and it was just like, oh wow. After the random selection of words were determined and piece of papers were passed around, it was time to start.
All right.
I guess we know who's gonna go now. You unfolded the piece of paper given to you, carefully not to peek at it while you showed everyone. Liz leaned in closely with a thoughtful, As soon as Lee had a chance to read the word, she jumped up. Dog! There's a popular type of dog called that. Hey, can you guys try to guess what's my word? It's where scientists do experiments and stuff. Someone in chat has one.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a secret location. Liz gave Cove an edged look. She probably thought it would confuse you. He's so cute. I know, I love Lee. It can be used for photos as well. So is Liz. Well, we can give up and just look at the paper. Actually, I have to type this in. So, what do we think the word is? Huh? They're mine now, Kara, how dare. Well, it's a lab.
Good.
That's it. I wonder if I could have just typed in any wrong thing and like they probably would have been like, yeah, that's wrong. You got it. Yeah, you nailed it. Everyone cheered and Liz gave you a round of applause. You looked at the paper with neat, tiny handwriting. You saw the word lab printed. Woo! Wow, that was dumb. Rude. You breathed a sigh of relief. You shrugged or you laughed. Woo! Woo! Cove's dad belongs to me. He's steady age by. Wait until we get to step 4, then he will be more dad age. You were thrilled that you got it, and the round was a total victory. We should definitely keep the ball rolling. Baxter fished out his paper from his ripped pants pocket and presented it to the group. Loopy handwriting spelled out the word slide. Kids like it. It's for kids. Kids. Lee bounced enthusiastically, holding out a hand to indicate the short height of children. Baxter nodded slowly.
All right.
It's at playgrounds, but it's not really small ones. The playground around our neighborhood doesn't have it, if you've been there. He shook his head, still perplexed. Unfortunately, I have not. Dang. You've been to playgrounds before, though, right? Baxter had paused to think on it, and he shrugged.
Maybe?
In my elementary school, I did have recess, but we had sports fields more than traditional playgrounds. For some reason, it's hard to picture you as a little kid. Nope, not gonna talk about it. I was like, because I don't know if it's public information yet. Well, I'd rather not imagine that, so it all works out. Cove placed a finger on his cheek as he was puzzled at the game's conundrum. He tapped his face absentmindedly. It's slippery? You can't really walk on it? Slippery? Every clue lost Baxter even more. He had no idea what the word could be. You sit on it and then you go down. It's tall, long, and you have to climb up to the top. That would confuse him more. You can go on it one way, but you can't really go up the other way. Baxter, do you know what the cha-cha blank? It's fine if you don't get it. I'll let it. Oh, okay. Penguins do it on their bellies. You didn't offer a hint. Hey Baxter, do you know the cha-cha? The cha-cha slide? Oh, slide! That's it, slide! Baxter, floundering confidence, returned with full force with a broad grin.
Excellent.
Oh shit, get out of your mouse. I got it. He flipped the paper over, tracing his fingers along the word as he smirked at it. Thank you very much for the tip, Sophia. Liz patted you on the arm with approval. Nice one. You have the magic approach at that time. Oh no. No confidence, only punch. Cove flipped open his paper, showed it to the crowd, kept his hand on the back of the note so he wouldn't see the word if the light shone through it. In blocky, wobbly text, you read the word potatoes. You pursed your lips together as you thought of what you could say. Stack! Liz turned her head with an incredulous expression while Lee continued her thought. She jumped up, pointed to the paper Cove had in his hand. You can put them in a sack. Cove blinked at Lee, deeply confused. Lee smiled back, full confidence that he would be able to understand eventually. It's a major vegetables used in crumpets. I don't even know what that is.
Really?
It's just like, really? Oh my god. His face. Dexter was earnestly taken aback, as if Cove had said he'd never had toast before. Carl, oh my god, just Carl. This is punky mouth. Maybe we should change that. There has to be somewhere in town that serves them, right? Liz cleared her throat, saving Cove from having to respond beyond his frown. It's that Mr. Toy with different faces and things. Cove tilted his head, utterly baffled at the different directions that everyone has taken.
What?
What's up, Mr. Toy? Liz simply shook her head at his lack of understanding. It was your turn to try. We're like the saving grace of half of these. He's had toast before. It was like an expression if he said that he had never had toast before. Yes, he has eaten what you usually eat for lunch. They are brown and lumpy. Shit. There's a sweeter version and a regular version. It is a common starchy root vegetable. Forget crumpets. French fries. My mom loves to mash them up, and Ma thinks it's bland. Ma thinks mashed potatoes is bland? Fuck. She shook her head, offering no hint. Brown and lumpy. I don't think he won't get it. You suddenly remember that there are red potatoes, purple potatoes, too. Oh well, lots of potatoes are brown and Cove had a chance. I'm kidding. I'm not doing that. Cove, forget crumpets. French fries. You gave Cove a look, sending the answer right to him while filling in the blank Baxter had left. Potatoes! Or singular potato?
Yeah.
You're right, yeah. Cove repeated the word again with a bright, beaming grin. Potatoes! Cove was so cute sometimes. You couldn't help but feel happy, too, over his victorious joy. He held his hand out for you to celebrate a celebratory high five. You smacked his hand back, you gave him a fist bump instead. Or you gave him a thumbs up. Damn. I thought I could fist bump his high five. Okay. Oh well. We'll keep it. He switched his hand over to a fist without comment and fist bumped you back. Thanks for the hint. I don't think I would have gone without that. You're welcome. Congrats. Now let's go again. Suddenly the boat tipped forward before rocking back partially. The ship must have gone over a bigger than usual wave. Liz held on to her hat desperately. Lee laughed at her, immediately desperate. You never know what will happen on the high seas. You chuckled. Watch out, Liz. Liz, you don't want to lose such a nice topper? You felt a burst of nostalgia. Nausea come over you. And you started feeling freaked out about being in the middle of the ocean like this. Chuckling. You and Lee chuckled together while Liz stuck up her nose. However, your sister was now smiling and her hold had slacked. The game continued with Liz and Lee taking turns, and it was a good time that you all decided to play a few more games. Liz turned out to be the best guesser, although it could have been because you knew her well enough to give relevant hints. Lee had to stop herself from answering on the first clue that she was given, but no one really minded. And all in all, everyone was glad that Lee had suggested the game. Oh. Lee shot you a grin. Why don't we have some drinks? There's a bar on the ship. Cove tilted his head in disbelief. We're getting drunk! I would have get so sick playing any game on the ship. Don't worry, just puke over the edge and continue.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff behind counter. I bet one of us could make whatever they can think of. That sounds like an interesting challenge. There are lots of different juice and stuff. I think I've seen strawberry puree and pineapple. Pumpkin, really. Carrot juice sounds intriguing.
So...
It's a juice bar? Yeah? Liz laughed and tapped Lee on the shoulder. You said bar, Lee. I think you gave the wrong idea. Whoops! Sorry for the disappointment, Cove. No alcohol is provided by the ship. Probably because it's required considering the group they got today. I'm not disappointed by that. I don't want to get drunk on a ship. We're gonna be Captain Jack Sparrow. Walking all over the place. I'm a little disappointed. Lee breezed past the misunderstanding, though, as it had never happened. I'm thinking that we could mix them up and get something special. Anyone interested? Ko thought about it, intrigued. Liz smirked, recognizing the potential for chaos. That sounds like a recipe for disaster. It'd be a dream. Trust me. So, who wants to make the drinks?
What?
It was your idea. Why don't you do it? I've made drinks before. If anyone else could try, this would be a great chance. I'm a gracious hostess. I want to make drinks. Cove and I will make the drinks. Come on, Lee. You have to do it. We're making drinks.
What?
I just throw this boy into anything. Wait, me too? Yeah, I want help. Lee nodded in approval.
Totally.
With the both of you on the job, we can definitely come up with something fun. With only mildly pinched brows, Cove accepted his enlistment. All right. I'm so excited! Let me show you the bar. Lee gave a brief tour of selection and various compartments. Cove wrinkled his forehead again at the few available juices, didn't ask any questions. Drinking on a ship isn't that bad. After that, she went back to the tables while shouting a final message over her shoulder. Good luck! Make it delicious and be sure there's enough for everyone. Gave you a thumbs up and skipped back to the others. There was a fridge packed with cartons and various glass bottles of juice. Lee had placed a pitcher on the counter for you to mix into. You stared at the options, trying to see what you could work with, and there were a lot of options. Cove hovered behind you, overwhelmed with how many things you had to pick from, and cleared his throat. What now? Do you have any ideas? You reached into the fridge to take out some juice. You grabbed apple juice, orange juice, pineapple juice, mango juice, grape juice, cranberry juice, strawberry juice, mix raspberry, blueberry, and blackberry juice, carrot juice, papaya juice, pomegranate juice, or coconut water. We got a shit ton, guys. Mix all the juices. This McDonald's, you pour in everything. Still somehow turns out to taste like root beer. It's funny because I actually don't like I'm kind of iffy about the taste of mangoes. Let's just do all of it. Okay. Cove leans around you, grabs the bottle of mango juice. See? As he set it on the bar, hopefully. Come to the Philippines, yeah, so like a lot of it I think is just the artificial mango, so I don't know how I feel about real mango, so probably, maybe. See, Cove picked your mango juice. Can we add some of this too? I like it. Let's be done with it here. Go for it. You wanted Cove to help you after all, and he happily poured some of his juice into the large pitcher with yours. Go to the Philippines. Have a horn dog necromommy. That was the plan someday, was to visit Caro. Yeah. Ah. We are horn dogs. I kind of want a corn dog now. They also have meat. Rex. There was still room in the pitcher for quite a bit more juice. I think that looks good already. But is there anything else you want to add? Ooh. Let's see. We can add pineapple. Or I'm thinking kind of leaning to pomegranate. I'm curious, does he like... Oh, back to lurking. Bye, Ashton. Have a nice lurk. pomegranate. You poured in the third juice, carefully trying not to spill any.
So?
Interesting. Are we done? No! We're throwing in pineapple juice as well. The fourth element was added to the ever-filling pitcher. You screwed the lid back on and returned the bottles to the fridge. Okay. I can add more juice? Where's the potato juice? Vodka? How many more can I add? They're kids. Juice. I don't know. I'm just adding juice at this point. The next juice bottle was hard to open, but you got it. You splashed in a generous helping. Unique. Why can I still go? Dude, we're throwing in, I don't know. Go raise his eyebrow high. Okay, does he say that with everything? Apple juice. Okay. Yeah, he does. I don't think I've ever had carrot juice. Maybe? Let's really confuse them. Let's throw the berries in.
I mean,
I like to keep things simple, but are you sure? I can still go. Cranberry. You pulled the latest juice from its spot in the very back corner of the fridge and joined the rest of your creation.
seriously?
That's a lot of juice. I can still go. You sloshed in the latest juice in the mixture. Co's eyes wide in alarm. You could only smirk. Something. I can add more. You grabbed a large spoon, stirred the juice pitcher, Co's breath in a sigh of relief until you reopened the fridge and added the latest of the juice.
Seriously?
I think you can stop now. Carrot juice. I will go back, but I kind of don't want to now. You made this with Co. A very delicate and very delicately poured another juice in the pitcher without breaking my contact. Kobe shook his head defeated. I can still do it. There wasn't a lot of juice left in the carton, but you poured it all in, tossed in the empty container into the trash. Cove hadn't stopped shaking his head. His eyes were squeezed shut, not even peeking at the picture of your lovely juices. I can still add some coconut water. You couldn't even leave it there. You were going for it. Cove still didn't bother to speak at this point. You added the last of the juice options into the pitcher with a minuscule crack. Oh, Cove glanced up and watched you put in the final container back into the refrigerator. He lowered his head. At least he stopped shaking. But you created a monster. With your juice done, you set up glasses and poured some of it for everyone. Hey, it's done! The group got up from the lounge chairs and they sit on. They came to fetch their drinks and everyone picked up the glass and took a sip. It's not juice! The others' reactions with your mega mix. Liv scratched up her face, completely overwhelmed with whatever it tasted like. What did you do? You threw everything into the pitcher and served it. You chuckled down like let's drop their jaw. You did. You snickered into a crackle. And Liz shook her head. Lee smiled awkwardly, trying to distractingly put her juice back on the counter. Cove shook his head in a long-suffering way. I'll go back. Go back to the juice. I was powerless to stop her. I'm sorry for not warning you. He shook his head into his hands. You had one job, Cove. One job. I know it's kind of funny. My cheeks. My cheeks. Lee bowed her head to you with a giggle on her lips. Baxter has not said shit. Like I could respect Sophia for going a little bad with power. She had the opportunity to make us all try on juices and she went for it. True. Well, if you put it like that, Liz slammed a cup back at the counter.
Jeez.
It's even worse. Sophia's a menace. Jeez. I like you, Baxter. You got some cider. You continue to drink your concoction with enthusiasm, Baxter. Baxter finishes off his glass with a content sigh and lifts the pitcher above his empty cup. I hope you don't mind. Oh. Knock yourself out. It might honestly do that to you if you swallow too much. It's impossible to tell if he truly enjoyed the juice by the dozen or if he was taunting the rest of the group. Either way, he did go for a second helping. The little juice experience was a good time as far as you were concerned. Okay. I'll give you guys what a good ending looks like. Because that was fucking beautiful. Which one did you add? Okay, we'll do the pineapple. We'll stop after pineapple. Okay. That's all. Cove eagerly gulped what you have both created. He already expected to like it, but the look on his face didn't disappoint. Cove downed the rest of his glass, and the next drink he took, he let out a satisfied sigh. Oh, juice. It was good.
Right?
Yeah, nice work. Not bad. It's better than boat juice. A little juice experience was a good time as far as you were concerned. Content, you all stood together, some still holding their juice cups, and Lee's eyes scanned the group. She giggled.
Right?
This is so much nicer than having to rely on regular phone calls to catch up, right? Before anyone could respond, Lee's eyes widened. The corner of your mouth pulled into an amused smile. Not like I don't enjoy our chats from afar. It's more fun to actually be here together.
That's fine.
We understand. Yes, this is a fantastic little party. Happy graduation, Lee, Cove, and me. Since I skipped over me. That was followed by more cheers and celebration of your high school careers coming to an end. Lee lifted her glass to toast with it. With it settling down, your older sister had one more comment to add. And no one will even had to fight over who gets to use the home phone. Lee threw her head back with a thunderous laugh. The smile widened on your face. I remember that. Of all times, Elizabeth
well,
here.
If that's the case, it was rather foolish for you to venture here.
Thank you for the hose, Cara. Can't wait you guys to see the new emotes. Lol, I didn't make emotes. I made alerts. Screw emotes. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with those. I made alerts. I made alerts first. How dare. I said the wrong thing. Tried to push me into being less grabby. She needed me to just stop so she could call her other friends. Kimmy, Wolfie, emotes, yes, believe the cookie. No. I don't know what it clicked, but okay. I'm like, I had to make sure it didn't start recording again. I don't know why it did that. Troll them. Or Fiverr is right there. I know, but I don't know what emotes to make. Bum 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 bum. Oh. Keep doing that. Hey. Many teams have their too cool for family phase. Stealing the first from Car. All of you are fighting over it. Thanks for the raid, Flamingo! That's how you do it, Car. Start with a few classics. Yeah, I guess. Oh.
You're welcome.
Yeah, luckily it's A-okay. I forgive Liz for being a teenager. That got a hearty laugh out of Liz. You caught a quiet snicker out of Cove, too. At least Sophia kept me up to date what was going on in Sunset Bird those difficult days. I never knew what a wild thing you were going to fill me in on next. Lee leaned over. Thank you for the raid. That's better. Lee leaned in merely a step closer. Oh my gosh. A mischievous, yep, fuck, look on her in her eyes had you preemptively bracing for whatever she was going to say next. Like when you were telling me about your tween romance moments with Cove. Cove hung his head with a sigh. Even if Liz had briefly been a target, things always came back to teasing him in the end. But there was a small, bashful smile under his embarrassment. Chuckling, Liz gave him a kindly pat on the shoulder. I couldn't wait to fill you in on what was happening next. Hey, I had to tell someone about what was happening today with these people. Liz, you really missed out on those meaningful conversations. He didn't comment. It was truly something you look forward to at every chance it came up. It was definitely always fun to stay in the neighborhood loop. Lee drank the rest of her juice down to the very last drop. More samples. And then she made her way over to the table by Cove, setting her cup down. Actually, Cove watched Lee as his mouth pulled into a lopsided smile. Wolfie gun. So many options. Making these juice concoctions reminded me a lot of the smoothie business down at the mall that let you pick all fruit that goes into it. That was a good place.
Yeah.
That was the best. Exactly what I wanted. Was channeling when I came up with this idea. I'm glad you caught on to that finally. Sorry, it can take a while getting something. Sometimes you all know that. No, Flamingo. No. Too true. Oh, this poor boy. That's an understatement. You're sharp when you want to be. It's okay, Cove. You're good when exactly the way you are. I know where I get my dumb ass from. My mother just admits to drinking expired drinks unknowingly. As long as they taste good, I don't care if they're expired. Besides milk. Oh wait, I just say if they taste good. I hate expired milk. You meant it. You hope that your sincerity came across alright. Slowly, a warm smile spread out across his face. So, Cove. She leaned towards him with a devious grin. Do you still have that wind chime Sophia totally got for you? Cove brushed off her teasing and gave her a satisfied look, already knowing the answer. You could feel the tips of his ears reddening. Like a vice from a cookie. If it tastes good, I don't care. What? It's kind of true. With food as well. I don't really care what it's made out of as long as it tastes good. That doesn't include human meat. I'm not going swingy Todd on this. Also, you can get shrimp. I could. Emo.
Of course.
I do. The moment broke with a sound of Liz quietly laughing. That's all it took to get Lee laughing. As soon as you were all soaked up with the mirth of the moment.
Well,
Though, all that aside, we shouldn't leave Baxter out of the loop either. Oh, wrong voice. Everyone followed her lead and turned toward the guest for the summer. His expression softened as he shrugged one shoulder.
I get it.
Well, it's true I wasn't here for these stories. I do enjoy hearing about them. It's nice to only listen sometimes. Cool. Real mature. Thank you. His gaze traveled from Lee to Liz, then over to you, and he sighed. My cousins aren't nearly close in age as you are. As the only child, I'm curious about what kind of relationship is like. Okay. Oh, I'm with you there. Only child's seniority? Ha, it's trash. Lee nodded firmly to Baxter and then shot Cove a serious look, and he crossed his arms. Oh, alright. Only child's seniority. A gentle smile lit up Baxter's face. Lee clapped her hands together, pleased at the united front created. Sharing a same wavelength, you and Liz turned your face to one another a look. Not breaking eye contact, she reached over and put a hand on top of your head.
Thanks.
That's wonderful, you three. I'll keep Sophia. Thanks. Your siblings' stares shattered into laughter, and the others joined as well. The hours were spent chatting away, sharing stories, favorite memories as the boat drifted off out to sea. As time slipped by, the sun hung low in the sky, signaling it was time to set sail back into harbor. The boisterous atmosphere from earlier settled into a blanket of comfort, relaxation. Liz and Lee were absorbed in a conversation, lounging around the deck couch. Baxter sat across from them, nodding along. Every now and then, you could hear a laughter coming from the three of them. They were always smiles. Cove had his arms wrapped around you. You had your arms around Cove. You and Cove were holding hands. You were leaning against each other, or you were standing side by side. Boop. Soaking in the scene, you sighed contently. Your hands moved up to hold Cove's arms. You heard him hum happily with the added touch. The ocean breeze picked up, and you closed your eyes. You're ready. When you were ready, you looked back to the deck and the faces of everyone you spent the afternoon with, and you never wanted to forget the view. And then you looked out to the wide, open ocean. You were committed every bit of it to memory. You quietly thought to yourself, today had certainly been an adventure. Yeah. Okay, we got 2 more and then the ending. And then step 4, which is literally kind of an epilogue. So we'll do the drive. I think the drive's going to be long. So we might end it after this one, depending on how I feel and whatever. Because I know the endings kind of take a bit, so either I finish this one or do the next one. But I won't do the ending this time. Because I think I might do the ending and the step 4 together. We'll see. Like a lazy cat, you stretched your arms above your head and yawned, blinking your eyes sleepily. But Hanky Panky, I don't know when that is. The day was warm and pleasant. You were lounging on the couch in the living room, finding it difficult to do much in that moment. Your mom and Liz had gone out shopping and looking for new items for your sister to take back and decorate her college dorm with. You could stab me all you want, I still don't know what it is. And I don't think it's this one. They had asked if you wanted to go with them, but you declined. For you, today was all about relaxation. Cove had dropped by to spend some time with you, content to join in with doing nothing. The two of you had been chatting idly as you lazed around, talking about other things you had planned for the summer. You were sitting next to him. He sat on the couch while you sat on your own. He sat on the couch while you were fully stretched on the other one. You were fully stretched across him as he sat on the couch, or you were cuddling on the couch. What? No hanky panky for you, Caroline. He had arm loosely snugged around your shoulder, his head dipped down against you, while you nuzzled against his side, enjoying the comfort of his company. The day dragged on, and you found yourself yawning more and more, often between conversations. You had almost dozed off completely when suddenly a buzz rang out, disturbing the silence. Food. Your Cove was on the charger in the kitchen, so it couldn't have been that. Cove pulled up his own phone from his back pocket and checked the screen. His movement jolted you, and you tried to readjust your position, getting it right again.
Oh.
It's my mom. After leaning forward and setting the phone on the coffee table in front of him, Cove hit the speaker button. Hey, what's up? Sophia's here too.
Hi.
Hi, Cove. Hello, Sophia. You made a small noise in response. Hi. Kiara! Hi, Mom 3. You interrupted our very important to do nothing, you know. I hope you know you interrupted our cuddle time. Wow. Yeah, her light tinkling laughter could easily be heard through the phone. I'm very sorry. Okay. Hi, Mom 3. That got a reaction out of him, but not telling his mom that we're cuddling. You knew your forwardness made Cove regret putting it on speaker. Thank you. Cuddling leads to hanky panky. You knew your forwardness made Cove regret putting it on speaker, but you were alright with that. Cove, baby, I wanted to ask you if you had a plan for all your junk. Cove made a small, outrageous grumble, giving you a sidelong glance. Jeez, it's not junk. It's important. Though you couldn't see it, you could tell by the sound of her voice that Kyra was smiling.
Aha.
But, is that a yes or a no about the plan? He looked over at you, his mouth pulled into a tight smile. I'm still thinking about it. Sophia? I gotta take the phone off speaker so me and my mom can go over this. It will be quick. Cove carefully moved you off of him, took the phone from the table before pushing himself to his feet. No, Cuddlebug! He left me. He left me, Caro. Daddy Hikaru, he left me. Why didn't I listen to you? Ah. He hit the speaker button again, taking it off, continuing the conversation with his mom as he headed towards the door. The lock clicked behind him as he exited the house, and you sank back into the cushions, idly trying to decide what to do next. After you elected to grab your phone from its charger, you resumed your position on the couch, tapping away at the screen. Your mind drifted away from the thoughts of Cove and his phone call with all the many ways your device could distract you. Rating. It was effective enough to kill the time, and you managed to do various little things when the door opened again and Cove returned. Why is there a horse emote? Why? He gave you a smile as he approached, so you figured the conversation couldn't have gone too bad. Why not? Why not? I don't know. Yeah. You watched as Cove strolled over to where you were sitting, and he crossed his arms on top of against the top corner of the couch, resting on them while bending down and lightly kissing the top of your head.
Hey.
I'm back. You gazed up at him fondly, you put your hand over his, you stretched up to hold his face, you tilted your head back and gave him a small kiss. He met your lips with his and closing his eyes and letting you kiss him longer than the one he'd given you prior. Is everything okay? Everything's fine. It just... He turned his head suddenly, running a hand through his hair, letting out an exaggerated breath. He seemed nervous, but you couldn't imagine why.
Fine.
It's fine. Nothing to worry about. You raised an eyebrow at the tone, moved your head to the side, trying to meet his eye. That doesn't explain what's going on. He shrugged, gave you a tight smile, trying to play whatever it was actually off as unimportant. There's nothing going on, just stuff I can deal with later, some other time. He was transparently avoiding the truth. As you stared back at him seriously, an indication that you weren't going to ignore what he was doing. Eventually, he broke beneath your stare and hanging his head against his hands and groaned. I need to make another trip to my mom's place. There's some stuff out there that I'm gonna use, so I'm gonna have to pick it up. It wouldn't make sense to ship it if I couldn't bring the stuff back with me last time since I flew. Oh. Just get good, Cove. Come on, I packed up my life in 9 suitcases and went home. I traveled halfway across the country with 9 suitcases. I still don't know how we did it. Suddenly, you understood what the phone conversation had been about. Cove was going to drive to his mom's home in Nevada. I hear driving through Nevada is boring as hell. When will you go? Mom thinks it would be best to do it now. Well, I'm still kind of free, but it is Nevada. Cove pouted, giving you an unhappy look, and you could see the prospect was already taking a toll on him. I don't want to. I was just there. And even longer than usual. You should go, yes. Go see your mom. Why do I have to leave right now when it's our last summer like this? You laughed, not knowing why he was being difficult about it. Away from potential hanky-panky. You thought it was cute that he wanted to say, "You can hack it. I don't want you to go either." You shook your head affectionately. What does that mean? I think that means you can deal with it. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Think. Yeah. English is weird. I don't know. I like this one better, maybe. It shows how much he appreciates being there and spending time with you. Looking up, you met his bright aquamarine eyes, finding a sad smile tugged at his lips.
Oh.
Suddenly, his eyebrows jumped, his eyes lit up like a lamp. You can come with me. What? More like wiggle. You should come with me. I mean, I get that the two of us live next door to each other. My mom lives in another state. My trips are usually spend time with her, just the two of us. I don't know. He was born with them. Am I eyebrow shaming? But this time it won't be like that. All I'm gonna do is drive over and stay the night and then pack up the car in the morning and turn around again. Most of the time will be spent in the car, so it would be good to have another person there. I was always the person that would go along with the drives. Like, just the extra person. And I'd just sit there. For like 2 hours, me and my brother sat in silence. Listening to Beethoven. To be fair, he was upset, and I didn't feel like I should be talking. Plus, you have a chance to see my mom again, her place. Maybe we could find something cool to do on break on the way. Okay. You couldn't stop yourself from laughing at his enthusiasm. He blushed a little, reining himself in.
Please?
I just feel like it could be fun. Please? Could you think about it? I heard Beethoven is great. I want to go. A road trip sounds fun. Caro, your plan didn't work. I have to let my moms know, but as long as we got nothing else important on the days that we pick, there's no reason why I wouldn't be able to go. He grinned from ear to ear, thrilled by the news. He put both of his hands on your cheek, kissed your face all over, having to bend down so far to do so, but he didn't mind. Plan B. We're going to Nevada. And then he wrapped his arms around your neck and let out a happy sigh.
I'm so glad.
This is so great. I'll call my mom back and let her know right now. You spend the time going over your schedules, making plans for when you could take the trip. You needed to both fit around both of your work schedule. It took a bit doing so, but it came together in the end. This doesn't work out because I also picked that we work at the same fucking place. Luckily, there was only a 2-day trip, so finding a couple of free days in a row wasn't impossible. Oh, well. Time to find out what that emote is. Oh, wow. It showed up on chat, but it didn't show up for me. Weird computer. It wasn't long before the dates were set and all plans were made. You were excited for the trip, you were content with the plans, you were nervous, or you were unsure about everything. Road twit, whoa twit, whoa twit. A small trip sounded like the perfect way to spend time. You could listen to music, eat snacks, and enjoy the open road. This just in, Boomer blames computer. Yeah. I don't know what else to blame it on. My internet? No matter what you thought about things, the morning when you were due to leave arrived. It was cooler than usual and the sun had barely peeked over the tops of the houses. You stood outside of your house on the footpath near the road waiting for Cove. You're feeling refreshed after a good night's sleep and an early wake up. With your traveling bag clenched in one hand as you watched as Cove finished packing up his car. He had organized all sorts of things, water bottles, snacks, and who knows what else. Car hanging. Not. Cove insisted he had everything under control, didn't need help. At least you could rest easy, knowing that it was all taken care of. As you waited, you glanced over Cove's car and you knew it well. Oh god, my reading skills. It's used to belong to Mr. Holton. When Cove was learning to drive, it passed to him. His dad had taken the opportunity to get a newer one. It was pretty old at this point, but it served you both well so far, and you hoped that it had enough life in it to survive the trip as long as you were the one you were embarking on. The slam of the door made you jump, snapping you back to focus. Cove was walking over to you. He dusted his hands off on his pants and tilted his head towards the car. That's it. Ready to go? Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. Ready. He smiled and stepped aside, giving you space to situate your own bag where you wanted it. Once everything was safely inside, he glanced back at you.
All right.
We should get started. It's going to be a ways to go. Woo! Gave him a high five, you hugged him, or you smiled with a nod. Ha! He seemed surprised, but he chuckled, returning the gesture. It couldn't lasted long, though, but the time was of essence. The two of you climbed into the car, buckled up, and cove into the driver's seat. You were sitting shotgun. Shotgun! His eyes moved to you.
Thank you.
Again for coming on this trip with me. Of course, it's no problem. After checking the mirrors and starting up the engine, you pulled out of the driveway and the trip began. With a small sigh, you got cozy in your seat and watched the familiar houses of your neighborhood pass by. Cove reached over and turned on the radio. A crackle of static mixed with old snippets of song filled the car as he flipped through stations. Mr. Halton's car was in good condition, but it was, well, older. There was no way to plug in the phone, play music, so the radio had to do. My brother has a car like that, and then he did some type of wiring or whatever thing to it, so we're able to do that. Eventually, he settled on the top 40 station before sitting back and resting both hands on the wheel. Is this okay? No. I'd rather have it off. Can I change it? You nodded. Yeah, it works. Yes, you know what I like. How could I forget? He smiled and happy with the answer. Time flew by with the whole scenery outside your window became more and more unfamiliar. Neither of you spoke for a good long while, but the quiet was comfortable, and you had become all too used to each other's company over the years. Eventually, Cove broke the silence, clearing his throat softly before he spoke. It's been too long since you and I have spent time with my mom. I know she still comes to the neighborhood sometimes, but it's not even once a year. I'm always going to hers. I'm happy with the two of us are doing this. Yeah, me too. But speaking of your mom and trips, remember the time that she took us on the crazy drive all across town? He shook his head at the memory, his laughter clear and bright. Oh, I remember. I kept worrying about papers and shoes while you were having a blast. It was an amazing night. I was wondering what I was thinking. Sheesh, I was dumb. It was an amazing night. Almost fun. He smiled quietly to himself, clenching the wheel and a little more confidently. With a crinkle of his brow, a look of nostalgia crossed over Cove's features. My mom always knew how to make things memorable. Can't deny that. Silence slowly creeps back into the space, both of you thinking back on the night with all your memories you had. Your elbows rested on the windowsill, and you gazed out at the world that was slowly coming to life as the morning rolled by. The sun climbed higher into the sky, forcing you to adjust the visor overhead to keep it out of your eyes. Hey, do you mind reaching back for me? Cove gave you a sidelong glance as he drove, indicating with a nod of his head with a tiny smile. I want some chips, the salt and vinegar ones. Great flavor. I don't know how you can eat that. You didn't have a comment on the selection. I actually don't eat those. He huffed impatiently, keeping his eyes on the road. I like them and want to eat them. It shouldn't be a problem with letting me eat it. I don't have a comment. Stretching out of the seatbelt and giving yourself space, you twisted in your spot and reached for the bag holding the snacks. It took a bit of effort to sort through the collection of goodies stuffed inside, but eventually the bag of chips crinkled beneath your fingers as you pulled them out and sat back in your seat. Here. Thanks. Do you mind opening? Yep. His eyes lit up at the prospects of the snack, and you shook your head in amusement, popping the top of the bag. You poured a few chips into his hand, or you held the open bag out to him, or do you want me to feed them to you? His eyes widened, a hint of blush creeped over his cheeks, but he was steadfast, continuing to face the road. No, that's okay. Can you pour a few into my hand? You can't stop us now, Daddy Caro. Woo. We're gone. Yeah, sure. Thanks. Cove held out an outstretched hand, and you did your best to have the chips fall into his palm, but some did end up on the floor. Oops. After you rolled up the top of the bag and stowing the chips safely back inside, back in the back again. When you turned to the front to find Cove crushing the fistful of chips into his mouth, loudly crunching loudly. Wiping his hands on his pants absentmindedly before gripping the wheel, spilling crumbs all over the place. You're like a little kid. You laughed at it. How can you eat that much at once? I'm impressed. You had no reaction. You couldn't stop yourself. You couldn't stop the amused sound that escaped you, and when Cove raised a questionable eyebrow, you shook your head. The hours drift by much the same way as that, with the two of you snacking and chatting as the day stretched on. It was fairly calm, and traveling along the open road, you found a little in the way of interruptions. At one point, you passed by a "Welcome to Nevada" sign, and Cove gave a tiny cheer and is in disbelief that the two of you were seriously all the way in another state like this. Eventually, you had to stop for gas and make a detour at a small diner to grab a proper meal that didn't consist of chips and candy. After refueling both the car and your stomachs, the drive was back on, as the sun began to dip beyond the horizon and bathed in the sky in a wash of orange light. Cove informed you that there wasn't too much longer left to go, and you were almost there. Sorry, Cove. I don't drive. You took shifts in driving through the trip, or you helped Cove stay alert when he drove. Oops. He appreciated it, and you managed the journey. I usually fall asleep. You managed the journey together. When night eventually fell in a blanket of darkness, the drive finally came to an end. Cove pulled into the parking lot of Kyra's apartment building, and the glow of the car light disappeared as he turned off the engine with a heavy sigh.
Huh.
We made it. We're here. Finally. Oh. The two of you exchanged tired smiles, having successfully and safely completed one half of the trip. You were relieved to have actually arrived and eager to get out of the car and stretch your legs. You took the stairs to the building together, and after a knock, you were abruptly met with a flash of green hair as Kyra opened the door and immediately took her son into her arms.
Cove.
There he is, my gigantic baby boy. She squeezed him for a moment before she let him go. Cove embraced her tightly back. It was a hold that reaffirmed all the love that he had for her as his mom, and she stroked the top of his head in response. When his grip finally loosened, she pulled back to examine his face. Are you even taller than the last time I saw you? Cove gave her a final look as she patted the tops of his shoulder proudly. You say that every time I'm here. It doesn't even make sense now. My last visit wasn't even that long ago. Iris simply laughed before letting him go and ushering the two of you into her apartment, and then turns to you with a wide grin pulling at her lips. Sophia, it's so nice of you to come along. As a bonus, you both arrived in one piece. One piece! Yeah, it's good to see you. It's been a long time. Kyra beamed at the both of you while you had loved nothing more than to settle down and rest after the drive. You could see that she wasn't going to let you go that easily.
So?
How was the trip? I admit I was a pinch worried. We barely made it. He's such a terrible driver. Oh no. No. I appreciate your concern, but it was alright. You felt the fuss was unnecessary. You let Cove answer. We made it without a scratch. Kyra clapped her hands together and bracelets around her wrist jingled. I'm so proud. I can hardly believe how mature the both of you are. Where did all those smarts come from? Cove ran a hand over his hair with an awkward chuckle.
I don't know.
Maybe I got some from my parents? His mom looked up at him deeply, her eyes glistening as she shook off the sentiment with a wave of her hand.
Any whoosies?
You have to be half asleep already, huh? I don't want to keep you up much longer. Early morning, any whoosie. How do you want to deal with the sleeping arrangements? I only got my room and Cove's, though the living room couch isn't bad. Sophia can use my bed, and I'll sleep on the floor in the room. It doesn't matter for one night. Kyra burst out laughing, startling you both. You raised an eyebrow at her outburst, giving her a quizzical. Yep, look. Oh yeah, I'll just stay on the floor. You couldn't handle that much back when you were 13. With both your parents in the room. Cove blushed a dark red gasp. Gabe, completely unprepared for her to pull out that embarrassing moment of the past.
Hey!
Mom! He blushed, he laughed it off. He had a long day. It's cruel to tease the poor boy so late, especially if it's true. Yep, she's right. That's totally what you did. You were annoyed. She knows he's sensitive and it was uncalled for. He put a hand on Cove's arm and showed support. It's totally what you did. Cove hung his head in defeat and embarrassment while you and Kyra chuckled together. I'll take the floor. I'll sleep on the couch in the living room. I don't know. Her couch doesn't seem that comfy. I'm usually the one who takes out the couch when we visit family or whatever. Mostly because I like it and it's comfy. Thank you for letting me have the bed. I kind of know how this goes, so I'm not gonna push him. Cove offered a small smile.
Don't worry about it.
No problem.
So...
Would you be okay with me sleeping on the floor in the room? I'd rather be in there than out in the open living room, even if it was a couch. I prefer if you were on the couch. Yeah, you can sleep in there. Yeah, you can sleep. Kara giggled softly, drawing your attention back to her. All the funny stuff aside, you need to get some sleep for tomorrow. It seems like the two of you set yourself up to not getting any. I know that sounds really captious, but I'm a mom and I have to say these things. Come on, we're not little kids having a sleepover. We're responsible adults, right, Sophia? Yes, very responsible. No, we're not. Well, I am Cove, though. Cove is, I can't say the same for myself. You simply smiled at him. Maybe you should sleep in the living room after all. Ah, yes, very responsible. She gave you two a suspicious look, and you stood up straighter, trying to prove your point. Kyra, I'll leave it at that then. For now. Just remember the walls are thin in this apartment. If you can't settle down and sleep, I might have to separate you two. We'll be good.
Marvelous.
Perfect. Kyra gasped her hands together and the bracelets softly tingled against each other again. It's only getting later, so I better let you prepare for bed. Nodding towards the hallway, you gave a small smile. I'll play hostess for a second and show you where the bathroom is first, Sophia, and where you'll be staying the night. Thank you. Posting your travel bag back over your shoulder, you followed behind Kyra and down the hallway. Cove shuffled along behind you, disappearing into the bedroom while his mom had you go to the restroom. The apartment was small, but it was nicely decorated in soft, cool colors with plenty of artwork hanging in the wall to give it character. It was stylish, but exactly what would you expect from someone like Kyra? New backgrounds! How does this man have clothes? If he's not been here. After being shown to the bathroom and wishing Kyra goodnight, you headed into the room and found Cove already there. He had changed to a sleepwear for the night as well. Looking around, you found the bedroom to look much more the same as the rest of the apartment, but with small ocean elements you were sure that Cove must have enjoyed when he stayed here. All in all, the room was pretty clean, almost looked like a hotel room
Well,
than a
if
bedroom.
that's the case, it was rather foolish for you to venture here. wouldn't you say?
Maruka! Thank you for the host! How are you? That's good. Yay! Oops, wrong thing again. Cove only spent a few weeks out of the year there, so it made sense that it wasn't especially lived in. Maruka doesn't have to raid me, Flamingo. What do you think? Pretty nice, huh? Mom always keeps it clean and everything, even when I'm not here. Just winding down before bed? Ooh. Yeah, I think I'm gonna finish this one up and then head to bed. Because my eyes are starting to go. And I'm yawning already. I was yawning at the beginning of the stream, but oh well. I think I read that. It's a great room. It seriously looks like a hotel room. That's sweet of her. Or you know. Cool. I'm glad you like it. They don't have to, but... Okay, Flamingo. Well... He seemed pleased enough with the response and giving you a small smile before opening the zip on his bag. When you went back to the room, you jumped into bed under the covers as Cove was shuffling into his sleeping bag on the floor. Who dressed like that? Who dressed this kid? Himself. You waited until he was settled in before you flipped off the lights, and a soft glow from outside peeked through the blinds, casting a shadow over the floor. You closed your eyes, blocking out everything.
Night.
Night, Sophia. Night, Cove. Sleep well. The room grew quiet as the two of you wound down for the night, and you found yourself listening to the sounds of the city outside the window. Noise came out. The noise out there was so different to what you were used to back home. Cars zooming past, people out having fun, instead of crashing waves in the ocean winds, cocooning your house in their embrace. What I miss, I had to sign important documents. I like having one. Well, we're in the same room, bedroom, sleeping. This feels familiar, don't you think? We're having a sleepover. We've been having sleepovers for years. Cove mumbled quietly, rustling in his bedding while turning to face your location. Separate beds. Caro, do you see a separate bed?
Right?
It feels like I have this view so many times, looking up over you. Tucked into bed, you keep being bound. It trailed off a little, and you assumed he drifted off to sleep, too tired to continue the conversation. But then, if a switch had been hit, he sprung up, startling you as he shot upright in his sleeping bag. Wait a minute. Why am I always on the floor? Also, boy, what is that shirt? Why are you guys coming for the shirt? It's just pajamas. What? You raised an eyebrow at him through the dark. The times I slept over at your house, you got to stay in your bed, and it was your bed after all. But when it's my family hosting things, my dad always makes sure you got the bed there. It's a disgusting shirt, oh my god. The words spilled out of him faster and faster, the pitch of his voice rising as the revelation spiraled. He said that you were the guest, so it was only right. No matter what, I always been the one taking the floor every time. This is a racket! You burst out laughing. I'm sorry, I didn't want it to be that way. Them's the hope breaks. What? You only realized that he was right. Shh, don't be so loud. Or you didn't know how to react. How is that only hitting you now? Don't ask me questions. My life is crumbling. I can't believe it. This has been going on for 10 years. He stopped suddenly, and you could only see through limited light of his eyebrows were angled in disbelief. His frown wobbled in shock. That's how it is in my family. My mom's had always thought that it was more fun and comfortable for the guests to use their own sleeping things rather than a stranger's bed. And in my family, the guest gets the bed because it's good to make sure your guest had a proper place to sleep, and we were opposites all along, and I never thought about it. When it looked like the situation was going to stall there, Cove sighed in disbelief, his shoulders slumping and his sleep aided defeat.
It's okay.
Forget it. It's too late to take back all those nights on the floor. At least I can think of myself as being really, really considerate. He sounded resigning to his fate. Despite looking on the bright side, he was still pouting. You sighed. Aw, Cove, I didn't feel bad making you unhappy. Thank you for making a sacrifice, quit being a baby, or you went over to cheer him up. Ooh. 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 Slipping out of bed, you kneeled down on the floor beside him, though he promptly turned away from you and continued moping. You kissed him on the cheek, you wrapped your arms around him, or you fluffed his hair. Oh. Thinking of nothing else to do, you leaned in, giving him a soft peck, earning a grumble in response. However, you didn't miss the blush that spread across his cheek and staining his skin. You sighed. I really do appreciate what you did for me. It's okay. You really need to stop acting like a baby now. You said nothing. You kissed him. You held him and stroked his hair. Oh. Oh. With renewed determination, you pecked kisses over his cheeks, his forehead, even on his eyelids when his eyes slowly closed with a flutter of the lashes. He softened with each kiss, gently mumbling escaped him, hanging in the dark between you. Your heart tightened in your chest, finding him utterly adorable in that moment. How are you feeling? You brushed your lips tenderly across his jawline and made a small, content sound. Any better? Another kiss on his forehead had him sighing, leaning into you. Oh. You placed a kiss on the tip of his nose, his eyes snapped open, landing on you with a dawn realization. Stop. I'm supposed to be upset about the floor thing. With a quiet laugh slipping out of you, you couldn't, before you can stop it, even past the dim light, you saw the flush across Cove's face, all the way to the tips of his ears. He sulked upon noticing your grin. He gave you a playful nudge to go back to bed, which, in a sense of satisfaction, you did. Back. Come back. With a tired sigh, he flopped back down. I can make do with the floor for old time's sake. Some real humor came back to his tone. It's basically tradition now. Are you sure you don't want the bed? Why don't we share? Or you drop the topic for the night. It's big enough. No sharing. Cove inhaled deeply. The fabric of his sleeping bag crinkled loudly as he fidgeted his breath beneath. I told my mom I was going to stay on the floor. You frowned, wondering when had that ever stopped him before. Did you really plan on going through with that? No. He hesitated a little bit. The silence stretched between you. You couldn't help but smile at yourself when you knew him so well. The sleeping bag rustled again, and through dim light you saw him stand, heading towards the bed. He took a deep breath as he ran his hands over the top of the blanket, gathering his nerves as his eyes met yours. It's gonna wake up some with the missing parts! Kara, no! My boy! And then he paused, and tilted his head to the side as to silently ask for permission. It's alright. You shuffled over to make room as he was pulling the bedding up and crawled beneath the covers, leaving the two of you closer together, but not quite touching. His parts. He exhaled heavily beneath as he laid down on his side, his head getting comfy on the pillows next to yours. You had a strange feeling in your stomach, like it was doing little somersaults, but it felt good to have them close. He raised his fingers and delicately brushed over the tips of your cheeks, drawing a shaky sigh from your lips. His touch was warm and feather-like, making you feel tingly all over. When his eyes met yours again, you found yourself lost in them. The world became still and silent around you. And then he froze, his muscles tensing as he closed up like a clam, his breath hitched in his throat. His attempt to whisper something, but was completely lost on you. With that having to suffice as a warning, Cove jumped out of bed and crouched down on the floor. His head held in his hands as he took in a few deep, stuttering breaths. You bolted upright in bed, staring down at him with mixed alarm and bemusement. Are you okay?
I'm always like this.
Oh. I thought it feel like it did before when we were younger, but it's different now. I'm sorry. Sophia, I'm really sorry. I'm just so... He panted deeply in and out as he thought he had just finished running an entire marathon. After finally steadying his breath to a normal rhythm, he crawled back into his sleeping bag, huddling down on the floor. He turned his back to you. Sorry. I'm waiting for it to appear. There it is. You understood, you were disappointed, you were amused, you weren't pleased, it was kind of flattering, you felt embarrassed. I was so fucking disappointed when I first played this. I was like, bitch, get back in the bed. I'm pretty sure I did this. Kind of curious what this one will turn to be. It was very clear how much of an impact you had on him. Or I did this one. I don't know. We always can try again another night. You don't need to apologize. Thank you for trying. I'm not surprised this happened again. Or you didn't say anything. He made a small noise acknowledging that he heard you, but no more. The event was over and you lied back down in the bed alone for this night. The next day dawned, bringing in the sounds of birds chirping happily outside the window. You opened your eyes, slowly letting them adjust to the light, trying to recall where you were, remembering the unfamiliar sight of Cove's second bedroom. You had woken up on your own, you reached over to turn off the alarm that you'd set, or Cove nudged you awake. Wake me up, boy! Rise and shine. Cove shook your shoulders and you groaned dramatically and buried your head beneath your pillow. 5 more minutes.
No way.
We gotta get started. Sitting up in bed, you let out a yawn, stretched your arms above your head. You still felt groggy, you felt okay, or you felt quite refreshed. Considering the long drive the day before and the late night, you felt you were ready to get the day started. Though you weren't as perky as him, his energy was infectious. Good morning. You pulled yourself out of bed, grabbing a fresh change of clothes and your toiletries before heading to the bathroom. After all of that, you met Cove back in his room. He was sitting on the floor when you entered, sort of sorting through a bunch of stuff in a box, determining what to bring and what to leave behind. Hey.
Hey.
Can you pull out the stuff in those drawers? You nodded. Even though he hadn't looked up from his task, you knew he wouldn't have seen. Heading over to his drawers, you started the task of taking out various items and setting them on the ground in front of Cove. After a while, it became clear that Cove was acting strange whenever you went near him. He was flinching over your presence. It happened a few more times before you couldn't take the awkwardness any longer. You dropped the stuff you were holding in front of him and raised a questioning eyebrow. Is everything okay?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just sorry about last night again. He quietly squeaked the second part of his thought about not staying in the bed with you. This boy. I know you try not to mind or be mad at me, but I wish I didn't have to make you accept me backtracking all the time. He swallowed thickly, struggling to find the right words to explain himself. I do think it felt nice, really, really. It was just also not bad, but in a good and unconventional way.
I mean,
lying together like that, being close, gets too hot, you know? His cheeks flushed with color and he immediately trailed off, his eyes firmly fixed on the floor. I get it. You will stay the whole night next time, right? That was intense for you, huh? Maybe I should be the one apologizing. Sorry to bother you. Yeah, it's kind of annoying, but it's what I signed up for. You will do better next time. Wow. Fucking rude. Or are you not in acceptance? It's like I don't like being mean, so I'm definitely not picking this one, but his eyes widened, a pink tinge creeped into his cheeks before he ducked his head enough to hide. Just don't worry about it. You don't need to do anything. Let's just get back to packing. With more or less resolved, you went to grab more items as Cove focused on the box in front of him again. Oh hey, look at this. When you turned to the sound of Cove's voice, you found him digging through one of the drawers beneath the bed.
Neat.
Here's something I definitely need to bring. Craning your head and you got a better glimpse of what he was holding. A small stack of papers. You immediately recognized the handwriting as your own. They were letters that you had sent him when he was away. He kept them this whole time. You don't have to hold on those forever. I was only lending you those. I think I'll take them back now. You joked. It's adorable that you care so much for them. Or you started feeling emotional, or of course you should take them. Cove looked up at you and you sniffled quietly, seeming concerned. You wiped away tears and pulping in your eyes, feeling a little silly. Sorry. I just was curious what this answer would go to. He smiled at you and his face softened. Why would you apologize? It's alright. It's wonderful. Thank you.
It's nice.
These are special. It was important having a piece of you with me when we were apart. I feel the same. That's why I gave them to you. Cove smiled, pleased that the feeling was mutual, but then the expression became more amused. And did you keep the souvenirs I brought back? Of course. Nope. Nope. Jeez, of course I did. I have things from what people gave me in elementary school. I keep shit anyone gives me. Unless it's trash. And it's in the trash. He grinned, grew into completion. Thanks. Another hour passed in silence, and you were happy to see you were making great progress with Cove's room, with only the closet left to sort through. You took a minute to take a mouthful of water from your bottle, perched on the edge of the bed, feeling productive. Cove glanced over at you, paused, putting down the tape gun he had been using to seal the boxes, and you raised an eyebrow. You know, it's really strange seeing you sitting in this room. Why? He frowned a little, his eyes distanced as his voice quiet when he spoke next. During the visits to Mom, when I was sitting alone in this room, I sometimes think about how you weren't here. It was a weird feeling at the time that you weren't around, and now that you're here in this exact place, I don't know how to explain the feeling. He shrugged it off, smiling a little, as though he said it enough already. He didn't want to risk sounding silly. Life is pretty confusing, is all. I didn't know you thought about me when you're away. That's true, life makes no sense. I missed you so much when you're gone. Or you smiled at him. Nope. His brows crinkled as he looked at you solemnly. These are just two clingy people. His eyes brightened with emotion. Oh, there goes my headphone. I missed you too, all the time. I love acting like these in like dating sims because I don't act like this in relationships. It makes you feel better knowing that somehow to know that when you were stuck at home missing his company, that he was missing yours too. He looked away satisfied, heading over to the closet and the last of the items to be sorted. Before long, every box and drawer had been thoroughly combed through, with the items either neatly packed in a box or organized and returned to the proper place. With a sigh of relief, you glanced around the bedroom and the work that you had done together.
All right.
We're done. Good job to us. I gotta change out of my PJs for the drive. Just drive in your PJs. Oh wait, I guess we have to stop. That's why you get PJs that don't look like PJs and can be kind of like confused for normal clothes as well. Those are the best on the drives. We used to drive 5 hours to my grandma's house. And that's what we would do. I'm so used to car rides. When the two of you headed out into the living room, ready to get everything finalized and hit the road, you found Kyra in the kitchen pouring a cup of tea. Cove headed towards her, leaning casually against the counter that divided the two spaces. Hey, you didn't have to get up so early. How early? It takes me forever to fucking pack. Ish. Depends on how long I'm packing for. Yeah.
Come on.
I think I read that. Are you crazy? Of course I have to see you off before you go. You can't just sneak away when I'm out cold. Knock her out. Just leave. She beamed at him in all honesty and seemed more than happy to be up and getting ready for the day. Do you want some breakfast? I got some... muesli? Sealy? Yep. Eggs or toast? Oh. And some kind of fruity cereal that you still have? That's okay. We should really eat on the road. Kyra smiled sadly, a little disappointed, and she seemed to understand your time was running thin. I thought you might say that in case I packed you some snacks for the road.
What do you think?
Even if you don't end up eating them, take them anyway. Just in case. You can always feed them to Cliff when you get home. And tell him I said hi. Cove laughed and shook his head, knowing that his dad would love nothing more than to polish off whatever food Kyra prepared for you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mom. You didn't really have to. Thank you for the snacks. It was nice of you to organize that for us. It must be a mom thing to know like that. I definitely eat whatever you pack, or you smiled. I'm sure they'll come in handy with this guy around. Cove scoffed and politely rolled his eyes, earning a giggle from Kyra. I don't doubt it. Like father, like son. She returned your smile with one of her own before putting her cup of tea aside. Anyway, I'll help you get the car packed.
Sure.
Thanks. The three of you got a move on, taking the boxes from Cove's bedroom and heading down to fill the back of the car until there was barely an inch of space left in the back and the trunk. With all of you helping, it only took a couple of trips to move everything, and you were done before you knew it. And then it was truly time to say goodbye. You convented back inside the apartment where Kyra looked over at the two of you with a quiet smile. It was great to see you both. Thank you for coming. She gave you each a hug, and you felt a little sad that you hadn't been able to spend more time with her. I did not mean to do that. Pressing buttons. So sad. Doop. It's good to see you too, Mom. Cove embraced her in return, and the two of them held each other a few seconds longer. I miss you, but I'll visit again soon.
Of course.
You better. Hey, we should probably make plans for you to visit us too. I'll let you know when it's settled. I love that. Kyra bundled all the stuff that she prepared into a bag and handed them over to you. You took a quick peek inside to see what she packed. There were fruits, nuts, seeds, hard-boiled eggs, and some veggie sticks.
Cool.
Oh, good to see we have some fresh options too. The snacks I brought weren't. Kyra shook her head at him and let out a soft laugh, as though she wouldn't have expected anything else. I seriously hope you're feeding yourselves better than that at home. Yeah, of course, just not on trips. I can live with that then. She's looked over him fondly, her eyes at last focused on his face, filling with motion. I'm gonna miss you, baby.
Me too.
Goodbye. Thank you for letting us come. We'll all be together again before you know it. But no problem at all. You're welcome anytime. Kyra put an arm around you both, pulling you in tight to her side for one final squeeze.
Bye.
Have a safe trip. We will. With a last goodbye, you exited the apartment, though Cove hesitated for a moment at the door, his expression distant. You weren't sure what he was doing, though you tentatively took a step toward him. Everything okay? Your voice seemed to bring him back down to earth, and he shook his head to clear his thoughts, his green hair swinging side to side.
Come on.
Let's go. With that, the two of you were heading back down to the car, ready to make the long trip home. Soon enough, you were on the wide open road with the car full of Cove's things, with only one destination, Sunset Bird, California. The drive went as smoothly as could be expected, with the morning slowly creeping into midday as the miles flew by. It seems dark out. The day flew by with a whirl of the open road and sunshine. Before you knew it, it was early afternoon. At the point you had crossed the state line, Cove announced that he was planning a little stop away from home. He was quite pleased with himself as you arrived at the... We're skipping it. The Redwood National Park. Shaded beneath the canopy of enormous redwood trees, you drove along when Cove parked the car and you pushed the door out. You pushed the door to get out, and the first thing you did was look up. Enormous redwood trees surrounded you from all sides, and their massive trunks shoot straight up into the canopy of foliage ahead. There were too many of them to count and stretched on and on as far as you can see. You squinted against the sunlight that was peeking through the leaves and danced along the path around you. It's great, right? He smiled at you from over the roof of the car before glancing around the place fondly. Remember the trip our family took here one summer? It was cool going on the trip, seeing the forest in person, even if we didn't stay very long.
So...
I guess we can stay even less this time, but oh well. It's just a good time to stop by. Who knows when we'll get another chance. His voice got a little soft at the end. He seemed to be bittersweet for him being in a place he was so fond of, and not having time to appreciate it fully. You're pleased with stopping there. You felt pretty good about being there. You didn't mind. You preferred not to stop at all. It was a beautiful place to stretch your legs and take in some fresh air. Thank you for bringing me here. There will be more chances in the future, I promise. It's better than taking a break at a gas station. I put up with you for trees. I put up with this place for you. You said nothing. Cub smiled, shoving his hands back into his pocket, dipping his head. No problem. The two of you walked around for a while, completely dwarfed by the sheer scale of redwoods. It kind of put your view of yourself and everything in a strange perspective. You took in a lungful of clean forest air, listening to the sounds of birdsong and the forest breeze rustling through the underbrush, taking advantage of the space to move around freely. However you felt about being there, it was a total different scene than sitting in that old car for hours and hours. You wrapped your arm around Cove, you took Cove's hand, or you felt Cove nudge your hand. You didn't pull away. He intertwined his fingers through yours, smiling at you as he relaxed to your touch, rubbing the back of your hand softly with his thumb. Being here again, you couldn't help but reminisce on what else had happened during the trip that you had taken here all that long ago. There were a lot of things that had reminded you of it recently. You look over at Cove, who seemed to be lost in the peace of the place, and you wondered if any of it crossed his mind. Smiling at the sight, you thought back on the highlights of that long-gone vacation. We spent the night in the loft together. Remember Elizabeth teasing us mercilessly on the trip? Remember? Our families were so close. Remember how the bird stole your dad's lunch? I haven't forgotten about the classic anklet chat. Both of these are good. Or these two. You managed it then. I was stupider then. Sorry. Who the fuck is Chad? You cracked a smile and left the little debacle from last night behind you again. There was barely enough room for the two of us, but it was fun. Cove chuckled and shook his head at the moment. It was memorable, especially when I got caught there by my parents in the morning. He smiled and stood enough. As soon enough, you were joining him. It was pretty embarrassing for him at the time, but you were glad he could look back at it and laugh now. Hanky Panky was sure fun. You continued to chat about the trip a little while longer, about things you had seen, done, or even eaten. A lot of memories Cove had of the trip were similar to your own, but you were surprised to hear a few other things from his point of view. So much had happened that there was no shortage of things to talk about, and the place certainly had a nostalgic quality about it. Hey, Sophia. You looked over at the sound of Cove saying your name to find him smiling at you, seeming relaxed along the nature of the park. Has anyone ever told you... Oh shit! That you have gorgeous eyes? Because you do. Goodbye! The word left his lips and you froze, completely taken aback by the compliment. He blushed and his gaze remained on you. That's another thing that happened during the trip. Ah! My eye! Speaking of eyes! You're so sweet. Your eyes are much more beautiful. You put a hand on your forehead, pretending to swoon. You found a dimple to hide your blush. I could never forget. Or you can't say things like that with no warning. Ko chuckled at your dramatic response, shaking his head in amusement. Your spirits were light as you bowled past information boards and picnic areas. Before long, you decided it was time to bring the short trip to an end and head back to the car to get on the road again. Cove sighed when you finally reached the vehicle, jingling the keys in his hand before unlocking the door.
Well,
I wish we didn't have to go, but we're going to be responsible and not stay longer than we should. How grown up of you. He smiled slightly with that. The two of you jumped into the car, buckled in, and he put it into drive. You were getting closer and closer to town as the sun started settling. Though there were still far enough away that the radio stations were unfamiliar to you. CG! Cove twist the dial. Oh shit. My other computer is dying. Give me a moment. Be good. Twisted a dial this way before it started stumbling onto a station with a song that he seemed to like. It was a rare gift from the fates in the sea of static and strange radio jockeys and grating tunes. Wolfie died. No. I had to move out of the screen so I could reach for my charging. My cord. Crush. His face immediately brightened at the sound of that, and he drummed his fingers along the bottom of the steering wheel happily. Sitting in his seat, he bobbed his head and shimmied his shoulders in the tune while mouthing the words along. Occasionally, he even lifted one of his hands from the wheel to gesture his fingers for a specific line. You smiled, you chuckled slightly, you shook your head, or you sang along, or you ignored it. Bitch, sing! Wolfie plugs. Oh, you're a cookie, not a robot. I said my computer was low on battery. I needed to plug it in. Me and my mom would listen to Disney songs when we were on our car rides and just start singing those. Cove raised a pleased eyebrow at your vocalization. Emboldened by you, Cove decided to speak the words then rather than lip sync. Your voice mixed together, slowly creeping louder and louder until you were belting out the words to the song. Your face is a computer. Bamingo. Come at me, bro. Every now and then words would be sung wrong, or by the end you were both laughing too much to continue. Children, behave, or I'm turning this car around. Computer. I was just like, my computer's not responding to me. The song ended and Cove reached over and started. Why do I feel like Caro can't drive? I don't know. I'm pretty sure I thought Caro can drive. I know my boyfriend can't. You don't know how to drive? The song ended and Cove reached over to start cycling through the station again. Upon finding nothing tolerable, he flipped the dial off in defeat, leaning back in his seat with a sigh. Vincent! I have a license. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought you had your license. How are you, Vincent? Leaned back in his seat with a sigh. You rested your head on your hand, staring out the window as the sky darkened, watching the landscape slowly melt into more familiar views. Doing good. Clearly just woke up. Oh. Well, I guess good morning. The miles went on, and any energy you had earlier began to drain away. And you imagined home and your family, and you would be there together soon. Together in Paris. You know, I spent all these years living in Sunset Bird, taking a few weeks each summer to visit my mom in that second room. Gonna go scrunch up some breakfast, just wanted to drop by and say hi. Oh, I'll go get all the food. That's not gonna happen anymore. Not really.
I mean...
I can still see my parents, but the way it works between us has changed forever. He paused. The silence stretched on, and a serious look on his face, he thought far away. You dare eat my kind in front of me, Flamingo. excited about the brink of real adulthood. Worried about how things were going to be in the future. I feel the same with my parents too. You shouldn't lighten up, or you said nothing. So many things will be different. I hope I'm ready for it. Cove's mouth pulled into a tight line and he gave a soft nod. And you got the feeling that he understood how you felt. Cove stared straight ahead down the long road, and the path looked like it would never end from where you were. But that wasn't true. Eventually, he found a few more words to say.
I'm so glad.
Is that a bot? Did I get a bot? I thought that was a bot. I was kind of like looking at it, I was like, wow, it's not the typical, do you want to be famous? Getting bots, yeah! I think I got one before, but I don't know. I think it's good we were able to do this trip without any parents or chaperones, just us. And we did it all. I don't know, I feel more independent now, a little more ready for what's ahead. Right? I have a feeling I feel ready for a while now. I'm not sure I'll be ready, or you hadn't responded to his conclusion. It's like a first step into being on our own, all on our own all the time. It will be here before we know it. The topic seemed to wear on Cove, and he made an attempt to find something else to speak on. So I'm kind of sad about getting back. I'm gonna miss having you right there tonight. He cleared his throat quietly, though nothing more, and you smiled to yourself a little at hearing him say something like that out loud. I'm gonna miss it too. With the feelings confirmed as mutual, the two of you fell into a comfortable silence. The sky outside grew ever darker as the hours passed by, and the stars blinked on like tiny fireflies painted onto a canvas of blue. Woo! I get smell Hanky Panky. The scene continued transitioning between open roads, residential areas, and beach towns, becoming increasingly recognized as time went on. Leave me alone! I can say it how I want to. You felt somewhat disconnected from the world around you as you watched it through your window, your tired mind growing hazy. How long have I had this boy driving? Feel bad. It was a strange, reflective feeling, but peace nonetheless. Soon enough, the world would return to you, and you would find your feet firmly on the ground, and couldn't be helped. The venture would end, life would continue, but your memories would linger on. And that's it. Since I am ending it here, these last two will be for next time. And that might be it, because I don't know how long these are gonna take, so that might be one stream, and then step 4 might be another stream. But... oh, I gotta save. Oh, it's just left. Oop. I'm not playing it on stream. I always click this. I don't know why. But we're going to the menu. Discord stream. Did you really want it? Like... like, I don't know. But I'm lazy. Woody. But I'm just so lazy that I don't like... I don't know. I could search. You could. I do have it already, so I played it. Then hi, that's fun. Do it on my server, lol. Do you really want me to do? Because it takes place after step 3. Okay, everyone who walks it or like looks at it is gonna be like, what the fuck is this shit? I'm just gonna end it. We're not gonna raid anyone. My computer is running slow, so it's being a butt. And not loading. And I don't know anyone who's on, so... yes, stuck with me. Ah, my nose. After what now? It's after step 3. We're currently in step 3. So after that finishes is when the DLC takes place. Maybe. If you really want to, I guess I can possibly do that for you. But thank you all for coming out, watching me play my synth game. But yeah, hope you all have a good day. I didn't realize that was a command, but I guess I'll make one. But yeah, hope that all of you have a good day, night. I don't know where you guys are. Time is irrelevant. Alright. But I hope you all have a good day. Bye bye.